Okay, Javed, like we will get started with the demo and we'll see if somebody else chats. My voice is clear, right? Hello, Javed, are you there?
Hello.
Hello, are you there, Javed? Can you start? Hello. We'll start the record. So when I talk about a website is a
Mm-hmm.
collection of various pages, and inside each page, what you could see here is you have a logo here, you have a navigation, you have a title. Right? Entire page is
Yeah.
comprised of various reusable components.
Yep.
Now every single component is reusable, and all I need to do here is I just need to go here and
Mr. Vas, are we
back.
sharing the screen?
Oh, okay, sorry.
I can't see.
You're able to see it now?
Yeah, I can see now.
Okay. So what I need to do as an author is I can just go and drag and drop the comp. If you look at this palette here is called as the sidekick. From here, this shows me a list of components that I can add. So component is, let's say I want to add an image component here. All I need to do here is just go and drag and drop the image. Or let's say, yeah, you add the image here and
Mm-hmm.
then drag and drop image. So this area that opens up is called as the dialog. Now how to interact with how does the author interact with the component is through this dialog. Now for this
Mm-hmm.
dialog we use something called EXTJS framework. Okay, now in the future we are also going to see, if you look at this, there are multiple widgets here.
Okay.
Okay, so how to bring this dialog, how to create this dialog, all these things we are going to see in the future. This they
Okay.
uses something called EXTJS where we use X types to create this. So in your future projects you may be assigned what do you do on a day-to-day basis as a AEM developer. Okay, so let's understand that.
Okay.
Okay, so before even understanding all that stuff, we will understand, right, who are the different stakeholders of my application. One is the author, right? He is responsible for creating and editing the content on my page. So he has to create the pages, manage the content, which we understand. The next one is
Okay.
administrator. Now let's say in large applications you would have various environments. You could have dev, you could have QA, you could have UAT and production. Now when I talk about AEM, right, there are two kinds of
Mm-hmm.
modes in AEM. One is this mode which is editable, every section is editable. This is called as the authoring mode. In authoring mode, all the components and everything that you see is editable. But do you think this should be the same view that I display to my end user who visits my
No.
website? So that is called as the publisher environment. So that is
Oh.
that is a read-only mode. So if you
Okay.
look at this, so when you are starting the AEM instance itself, you can say whether it is the author or whether it is the publisher. So if you look at this now,
Mm-hmm.
I went to the preview mode and none of the sections are editable here. All I see is a read-only mode for my website. There is a publish environment. So there are two kinds of modes in AEM. One is the author and one is the publisher. That is the fundamental. Now,
Okay.
once this is done, the next kind of stakeholder I told you, now we saw author. The next kind of stakeholder is your end user. When I say end user,
Mm-hmm.
he is the consumer of the website. Now when I open Macy.com, I am the consumer of the
Mm-hmm.
website or the end user. I see everything in read-only mode. So who builds the environments on these various environments? Right? Who builds the instances on these environments is your administrator. So administrator is responsible for adding that. Now once I add that, right, I need to also decide who can be the authors, what are the permissions a particular user has on various pages and all of that, right? The authorization and the authentication has to be taken care. Who
Mm-hmm.
manages the user permissioning? It is the administrator. How is the user permission? So what is this user permissioning? When you talk about a CMS, right? It is not just about a web application that makes it available for authors to add, edit and manage a website. There are other things that should happen. These are all called behind the scenes work. What are those? One is keeping track of users, their permissions and security settings. How do I do that? All I need to do here in AEM, right, you don't need to create any new database and play with it. The user permissioning is an inbuilt feature. So if you look at this is something similar to your SAP ERP as well. To create users, you would
Mm-hmm.
have a user console, right?
Yeah.
Similarly, here you have user admin. Now in the user admin, to create new user, all you need to do is just say create user,
And a group. Perfect.
yeah, either a user or a group, and then associate the permissions. Let's say user, whatever. The moment I do that, how this gets stored here is your AEM does not use a database. It rather use something called as JCR, which stands for Java Content Repository. There is no concept of database here. We are going to discuss the architecture tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
So if you look at the user here, now look at this. The permissioning is all about just checking or unchecking permissions on various nodes. These are all
Yeah.
called nodes.
Okay.
Yeah, these are all call nodes which we will understand in detail tomorrow. So you just have to check or uncheck the read modify. This is the user permission.
Okay.
So this is a Java for
Yeah.
administrator. So this is what I wanted.
And one more thing. Yeah. One more
Yeah.
thing. The end user and the publisher. What's the difference between these two modes?
Okay, so the publisher is the kind of AEM server, right? The server can start as author or server can start as publisher.
Okay.
Now when the author creates the content, okay, it goes to the publisher instance. So publisher is a type of an instance, server instance.
Okay.
So when the end user comes, he will log into the publisher instance. He will log into this publisher. This is the server that is made available to the end user.
Mm-hmm.
Consumer will view this published instance, this server instance. So when you start AEM, basically, let me show you here. Okay, this is the server, right? So I can start the server as CQ. So how the AEM server starts is you will have one jar file and one license file. Just naming this. So instead of CQ-author, I will say CQ-publish-P4503. Author
Okay.
instances run on odd number ports, publish instances run on odd number ports. Instead of author, if I
Okay.
make it publish, the entire server will be in the read-only mode. That's the meaning of publisher instance. So responsible for
Okay.
releasing the content for use. So all the content on this will be read-only and consumer accesses publish instance.
So end user will be given a server instance itself, or
No, he won't be given a server instance. So this server will be running on, let's say, localhost and some port. Okay. How it works
mm,
is, you would have an admin. You will have something called domain name security, domain name server (DNS). So you will
okay.
map the IP address of the server to the DNS. So Macy, when I say Macy's.com, all the
Mm-hmm.
request to Macy's.com will be redirected to that IP address. So the IP to DNS will be there, and you access the DNS.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the way it works. So now you understand what author does and what administrator does. He will build all
Yes.
the instances, he will monitor the production instance, he will monitor the logs. Right? He is also responsible for deploying the code, because you may have some code that goes, you may have a release cycle, right? So here somebody has
Yep.
to take care of deploying the code that is done by the admin. Then what is our job here? So we are all AEM developers. So our job is to build reusable components. When I say build reusable components, the first task here, when you look at this page, let's say this is the page website. So author's job is to drag and drop the components. So some components are available here, and some components as a AEM developer we need to build the pieces, the components which can be used by the author to build the page. So we need to build. these reusable. Some components are available, and sometimes we may also need to build the dialogues here. For a component to be editable, how does the author interact with your page? Through the use of this dialog. Now this dialog, if I feel I don't want this particular image, right, I need to be able to drag and drop this image. So who builds this dialog? Right? It is the developer. So look at this. That's the reason I've said, as a developer, I need to be able to add reusable components. I need to create components. I need to create the dialogues. Just adding components and dialogue, is it enough? No. I may want my website to interact with other applications. I may have web services, or I may have upstream and downstream systems. I may want to integrate my website with e-commerce. I may want to integrate my website with Salesforce CRM. I need to write some Java code. So I also need to write Java code, which goes into a layer called OSGI, which we'll talk about. I need to create the templates, right, and so on. So these are all the job of a AEM developer. Right? You understand it, what you are going to learn. We are going to learn the OSGI framework. We are going to learn how to create dialogues, how to create components. So
Mm-hmm.
when creating components, right, there is a lot of code. So to render this as an image, there is a backend code. So you need to write the JSP, you need to write the Java code. We also have something called Sitely framework.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to understand all this when you need to create component. So in the rest of the training, right? So this training that I've done, I modeled it in this way, right? The first few classes, you are going to understand the component development, you are going to understand the architecture, you are going to understand Sling in detail and all of these things. Now once you are
Mm-hmm.
comfortable with this part, the second half of the training, we are going to work on advanced concept like how to work with OSJ. The OSJ part will be dealt in detail during the second half of our training. How to write a Sling servlet, how to write a Sling event handler, and all of those concepts. Okay. So once you do this, you will be let any requirement come up for any website. You will be able to build components, you will be able to integrate with anything once you know the fundamentals well. That is the whole intention.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
So you understand it as a developer what your job is. Your job is not to create the pages and not to create this. Your job is to create the components. This is done by the author.
Yep.
That is where you should never get confused. Next.
Yeah.
When I talk about what a content management system is, right, it allows for management of content, non-technical users. In addition to that, it allows you to keep track of users. I just showed you a console to do that. It also gives you something called configurable workflows. Now when I say workflow, what is a workflow? A workflow is a set of organizational processes. What is a good case of a workflow? Let's say you are working in Accenture, right? Now at the end of every week you would submit a timesheet where you would enter the hours you worked done. The moment
Mm-hmm.
you submit the timesheet, automatically what happens? An email goes to your approver, which is your
Yep.
manager. Now once he approves it, what happens next? You have to invoice for your hours that you worked. So it will go to the invoicing team. So a lot of back-end processes are happening. So the setup organized similarly, you can create those steps here in AEM. So AEM gives you configurable workflows where you can add these processes on your content. In the future, we are also going to build a custom workflow. We are going to
Mm-hmm.
understand what the fundamentals of workflows. So in AEM, if you look at the AEM console, HTTP, HTML. In AEM, any URL that you fire is going to be server name colon port number. Your server runs on a port. The server name colon port number, and this gives me a list of all the features available in AEM. Look at this. This is the workflows console, how to create workflows and all of that stuff we are going to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the question is, before getting into the depth of all these things that anyway we are going to do in the training, right? The next question is, why choose AEM, right? What are some of the other CMS tools available and why choose AEM is the question. So the other CMS tools available in the market is open source. Which are the open source tools? You have Drupal, you have WordPress. Then why AEM charges around $100,000 just for the licensing? Why choose AEM? Okay. So the limitations with the limitations with other CMSs, you have okay. So if you look at Sitecore, you have TeamSite, you have IBM CMS, right? All these are so if you look at this, Sitecore is a .NET based CMS.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Documentum is .NET as well as Java. The problem with these things is AEM gives you 5 good features which none of the other CMS provides. The limitation with Ectron was it lacked intuitive publishing features, it lacked support to integrate with analytics. IBM WCMS uses applets in epochs, which is a legacy way of coding. Right? So these are all the CMS
Mm-hmm.
tools. Why AEM is the question. How do architect teams in companies evaluate AEM? Okay. The first report that they open is they look for standard reports. Forresters is a company which evaluates all the available tools in the market. Now if I look for Forrester's AEM report, it is leading. AEM is number one. So if you look at this URL, they have some parameters on which they evaluate this. If you look at Adobe, right, it is number one in the digital marketing space.
Oh,
Okay, you can read the reports here.
you copied two links.
Uh, let's copy this. Let's go here. Adobe named a leader. Again, Gartner is the standard one. Forresters is the standard reporting tool. So organizations
Mm-hmm.
you can download this report and there is a detailed parameter sheet. Okay, I will send you the detailed parameter sheet and you would see that Adobe is leading in all the spaces, right? On all the parameters, Adobe is leading. So they feel okay, Adobe is leading. Now architecture teams, okay, Adobe is leading. Now what are some of the features with AEM? This is what we need to. So if you look at some of the advantages and features of AEM, now when I build a website, it's basically used to build a website. Now my website should work on smartphone, it should work on multi-channels, you agree with me? It should work on smartphones, tablets, desktops. Now when it has to work on multiple devices with just one-time development effort, is that even possible? Yes, AEM has made that possible. So you can just have one creation of website which will work consistently across devices. So it gives you a multi-channel, multi-language website, which means you want your website to work on multiple languages and the expert of creation should be just once and it should automatically get translated to other languages, right? That's the exact requirement. So AEM gives you an ability to build multi-channel, multi-language website. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, which are some of the largest websites using AEM? Right? At least about 50% of the top Fortune 1000 companies have moved to AEM. Now, how to find
Mm-hmm.
out if a website is an AEM? All you need to do is go to buildwith.com. You tell me any website and I can tell you the backend technology that website uses.
I guess Apple is also using AEM, right? Is it Apple?
Yes, support.apple is using AEM. All you need to do
Mm-hmm.
here is look at this. So let's take some large websites. Citrix.com,
Uh-huh.
Cisco.com, Intel.com. Okay, all you need look up the website. This tells you the content. This uses CQ content management system. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, look for let's say Intel.com, Harley Davidson, Audi.com. Conda.com, right? Almost all the large websites are using this.
So mainly, if there are any multiple products in the
Mhm.
website, so mainly those companies use these systems, or?
Mm, any website nowadays are going to AEM because they want the authoring ability.
Okay.
Along with authoring ability, what this gives you is it gives you the five features which we are going to discuss. If it has products, you can use it, right? Usually, most of the websites have their products. Let's
Yeah.
say visitflorida.com uses AEM.
Oh,
So basically, when you want the latest website with easy authoring abilities, right, adding images becomes easy. You get to the
yeah.
latest look and feel. The performance of your website increases. The page load time increases. You get a lot of these effects. Okay. So that is what AEM gives. You can have multiple languages. Australia.com is an AEM. The Australia.com tourism website. Now slowly all the websites, Singapore.com is an AEM. All the websites are going to AEM. Because you get, I told you, right, you get good authoring abilities. You get a rich interactive framework for the authors to interact with the content. In addition to this, what you also get is multi-channel, multi-language site. It works on all devices, right? It's cool to build a
Yeah.
multi-channel, multi-language website. So
Yeah.
something like Intel.com, if you look at this, Intel has, it supports about 45 languages, this website. Now, similarly,
Oh,
I can go and choose, let's say I'm a European and I'm from Germany. It's just one-time creation and the content automatically translates itself to various languages. Right? Do you see when I change this? And this is a very hassle-free development for this guy. Okay? This is
okay.
the first advantage. Second advantage is whenever you talk about any large website, right? These websites, for example, even your foxnews.com is an EU. This website remains
Mhm.
relevant only when you have relevant content, which means the
Okay.
images, videos, everything that you see here. For something like Fox News, they keep getting news every minute, every hour. So for them,
Yes.
digital assets is the most primary thing. So managing the digital assets. When I say digital assets, it can be these videos, images, documents, PDFs, Word documents, and so on. What AEM does is it for this is called digital asset management. So it gives
Mhm.
you a centralized console for managing the digital asset management. So in earlier websites, it used to be a big headache to manage the digital assets. What AEM gives you is all I need to do here is go to localhost and
And
say
one more doubt
sure.
is this AEM only for the static data?
No, no,
And
definitely no. It is for the dynamic data. Right? You see that I'm changing the website here. I'm changing the entire content of my website.
yeah, but
See?
the after changing it will be present uh, until we change anything,
Until
right?
you
I
change.
mean,
Yeah,
what?
it supports both static. Now, if I want this to fetch a Java service, the moment component gets loaded, I want to make Ajax call and fetch the current weather and fetch the current.
Okay,
So I can do that, right? I can make it
okay,
static. I can write Java code basically, which allows me to do both
okay,
static as well as dynamic.
okay,
So if you look at, I'll tell you where the dynamic data is. When you go to suninternational.com, this is also, so Sun Group, this is where the Miss World and Miss Universe contest happens every year. So this is an
mhm.
AEM. Now let's say I use some resort. Now what you see here is dynamic data. I'm 8,000 kilometers away. These are all dynamic content that you see. When you
Okay,
open the page, you will see some different values.
okay.
So
And what
if,
about live streaming, something like that? Can we do that
which
also?
one? Live?
Live streaming.
Oh yes, you can. If you see, do you see AEM gives you a video component. You
Okay,
can upload the videos on DAM and render the videos from DAM directly.
okay. Uh-huh.
So it gives you the streaming, it gives you the video. If you feel no, I want to add my own video player, you can add Bright Crow, you can have
So
some.
even if we add it in the dam, that
Mhm.
will be a already existing video, right? Right? I mean,
It will be
already
existing
existing.
video.
Yeah.
Yes. When you look at YouTube,
Yeah,
when you
it's
add some
something like
video on
YouTube.
YouTube, it will be on the YouTube library and you render from
Yeah,
the
yeah,
library. That's the
yeah.
same
It
logic
is
they have used it here.
perfect. Okay.
So I want to show you something. Now when you upload some asset, very interesting this is. Now I want one image. Let me show you this. So let's go to downloads, whatever, pictures. Now let's say I go and upload this koala bear picture. So basically this is the centralized console I was talking about. In the digital asset management, you can organize into various folders and managing assets become easy. Apart from that, I want to show you this. When I double click this guy, this is the original size of the image. In addition to that, do you see I get multiple renditions. So the same image on a mobile device I want to use a little smaller version. On a desktop device I want to use this. On a PDF, on a tablet I want to use this, right? So automatically it generates the renditions here. I don't need to write any image processing code here. And
Okay.
more importantly, I can specify the width and height of my, if I want I can generate another 10 renditions. All I need to do is just specify the width and the height. The code, everything is built in to generate the renditions. You get the advantage here.
Okay. Got it. Yeah.
Okay. So AEM allows me to manage and manipulate digital assets. In addition to it, it also allows me to generate renditions, thumbnails and so on. Next, that is one thing. In addition to it, let's say I'm working like you said, if you're on Amazon.com, you want to buy a t-shirt. So what will you
Hmm.
do? You will go to Amazon, you will look at the reviews, how many stars, how
Yes.
many ratings they have given, what are the comments people have added on that product. And I will go and interact with somebody. I will go and interact with the community user who has already purchased the shirt. I will chat with him and then look at it. So
Yep.
it is called forums, ratings, blogs, communities, all these things come as built-in components. Now if you look at this interestingly, let me show you. So this is called as a commerce website. You, AEM already comes with inbuilt built-in websites for reference so that if you are a new developer, you can refer to the outdoor site, you can refer to these built-in sites and build your website. Now interestingly, if I open up this one, I'm on the men's page. So this Geometrics Outdoors is a fictitious commerce website where you can review their forums, ratings, reviews and all. As a developer, why do I choose AEM? The time to market will be less. Your development effort should be less. So that's the reason you would choose AEM because there are a lot of components which are already inbuilt and you may want to customize those inbuilt components. This is
Okay.
taking time, let this load up. Now I see that these are all the t-shirts, there are shorts available. Now I want to buy this shirt. I click on the shirt. The shirt is called Ashanti Nomad.
Okay.
Okay. Now when you look at any e-commerce site, right, add to cart is a very important functionality. Now I will add this to cart. Okay, so in my cart you should see one item that is getting automatically added to my cart. Okay, you see this one item in shopping cart. This is the item in shopping cart. Then I can say checkout and make the payment and buy the shirt. The payment gateway also exists in AEM. There is a built-in payment
Okay.
gateway as well. In addition to that, you can go to the website and you can review what people feel about this. This is a review here. Right? Somebody, this is a 5 star here, 5 star component. Right? So this is a 5 out of 5. And you can look at the reviews. So this review here, he's impressed. He brought it 3 years ago. You can add the comments. You can create your own review. Right? You can see the features here. You can add the features of this product. Right? So any e-commerce, all the most important e-commerce stuff is already inbuilt. As an author, look at this, everything is editable. You can say instead of Ashanti Nomad, you can say something else. You can go and edit particular sections here. Okay. Size, shirt sizes. So basically you can have an e-commerce backend. So e-commerce backends are a Hybris, you can have Oracle ATG, you can have any backend. So once you sync, you will store the content in AEM and these components work with the AEM content. You can
Mhm.
have the image. Yes. You can go and add some other image if you want to. You can play around with this in the way you want to. So who gives me these features? My AEM gives me the calendars, forums and ratings, the reviews to engage with visitors and customers across various social channels. AEM also gives you a social collaboration. Now just building a website is not enough these days. When you like a page, it has to redirect you to the Facebook. If you want to log into the website, you don't want to fill the registration form again. Rather, you will use a Facebook login and log into your website. Have you done that ever?
Mhm.
Many pages ask you for
Yes,
Facebook. Right? So
yes,
all
yes.
the Facebook integration, everything is given by AEM. So
Mhm.
that's what I've added here. Okay? It gives you ability to build e-commerce sites where you could use Elastic, you could use Hybris, you could use Oracle ATG, any of these backend systems and build payment gateway, product view, product detail, pricing, all these things, right? We just saw it now. This is all given by your AEM. It gives you a
Okay.
powerful authoring framework. When I say powerful, there are two kinds of authoring framework. One is this classic UI. This is called classic UI. Now, I cannot
Mhm.
author on a mobile device using this because if I resize this, right, this is not responsive here. But if I want, AEM also gives me a responsive framework. So instead of CF if I make it as editor.html, this is called touch UI, where you can use mobile devices to author the content. Let's say you're working for Fox News and there is a disaster, you're on a disaster location, you can use mobile devices and upload the images live from the disaster location. So this
Oh,
is called
okay.
as a responsive framework. So let's say,
Mhm.
sorry, you had a question?
No, no.
Now if you look at this touch UI, right? Now if you see there are four columns here. If I resize, you see it automatically adjusts itself as per my screen resolution. How is this is happening? This is because of my touch UI. AEM gives you a responsive framework for authoring. This is called touch
Mhm.
UI. See, even the smallest device, there is no concept of horizontal scroll bar where I scroll to the right and do all of that. Rather, my website itself is
Mhm.
adjusting. So AEM
Okay.
gives me a powerful authoring framework. So if you combine
So,
all these,
the mobile, yeah. So the mobile device also has, I mean, all the features, right?
absolutely all the features, the touch, the dialogues, the widgets I showed you, everything is inbuilt,
Okay.
which you are going to see how to use when you build websites.
Okay.
Now, I told you AEM Adobe Digital Marketing is leading in the market. So all you need to do, if you look at the Adobe Digital Marketing solution, let's go inside. Now, Adobe Marketing Cloud has 6 solutions. Experience Manager is the content management part. Okay, it's the content management piece which you use to build website. In addition to building website, you need information about how your website is performing, right? Like how many users are visiting my website, how many users are visiting my website from California, how many users from India, and how many clicks are my top navigation getting, how many mobile users am I getting, right? So these are all called analytical information, where you can generate the reports, and depending on the reports you can go and customize. So some poor performing pages you can change the content, right? So this is
Mhm.
called Adobe Analytics is the leading analytical solution in the market. Again, you can refer, right? You don't have to trust me, you can refer the Foresters and the Gartner's reports. So analytics is leading. So experience manager with analytics gives you a powerful solution. In addition
And
to
all
this,
these yeah, all these applications can be opened directly through this AEM installation. I mean,
unfortunately,
localhost slash.
you need to have separate licenses for separate. These are all add-ons you have.
Oh, okay.
With AEM only you will have AEM. If for analytics you have to
Oh,
spend more, your organization has to spend more to get this add-on.
okay.
Okay, so next is Adobe Target. Okay, what is this target and campaign? Now, just building a website is not a, let's say I built Microsoft.com and Windows
Mm-hmm.
10, Windows 12, so different versions keep on getting launched. So for people who are already using Windows 7, when they log into
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft.com, the same Windows.com homepage URL has to show different content to different users. Same URL showing different content to different people. This is called personalization. You agree
Okay,
with me?
I got it. Yeah.
When you purchase a mobile phone from Amazon, next time you log into Amazon, you will see offers on mobiles. It allows you to
Yeah, yeah, I
create
got it.
offers, vouchers, and all that. So you can target users and launch campaigns for them by using Adobe Target and Adobe Campaign. So this allows you to generate dynamic views for the same page, different
Uh,
views.
yeah, but can't we build this? What do you say? The different look for different users using this AEM
We
itself,
can build. There are two things
depending
again.
upon the.
There are two.
Okay.
You can personalize the content using AEM itself, as well as you can
Okay.
use Adobe. The advantage with Adobe Target is it couples with analytics, right? You can. So
Mm-hmm.
let's say you personalize something. You can monitor a personalized experience. So Target, you can use Target. It will give you dynamic views, right? It will give you a separate dashboard for doing that. We can do that here as well. But here the advantage is
Mm-hmm.
it couples with the analytics solution, and it'll tell you which pages are poor performing. You can say, you'll also get to know how much spend is going, all of that stuff you will get to know. So how much spend is going on your target, all the things is this more dynamic, the target.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So media
Okay.
optimizer is just to know which pages is leading to cache, how much am I spending on my website development. I know the poor performing pages lead to cache, how is it happening. So all these are separate
Mm-hmm.
tools to do that. Now for all these things, why go for AEM is to increase brand loyalty, is to increase, so basically AEM is the hub, heart of the hub, and you can integrate with various solutions. You can integrate with Facebook, video streaming, this is what you asked
Mm-hmm.
me, right? Video streaming, CRM,
Yeah.
something like a Salesforce, media optimizer, demand generation, and so on. You agree with me?
Yep. Got it.
Okay. Now, in addition to that, which are some of the you
How is
look
the
at, yeah, sorry.
yeah? How is the future of this AEM? I mean,
Very good for
really
the
good, right?
next 7 8 years. Okay, you know, you don't ask me. The best thing to find the demand for AEM is go to indeed.com and look for AEM openings
Jobs. Yeah, yeah.
in your US. Yeah, look at 3 4 AEM job portals in US. Look for the AEM openings in India, and look for other
Mm-hmm.
CMS openings or other things. You will know in AEM. I mean, you will know the market in US better.
Okay.
So there is a lot of openings, and the reason I say that is when you go to build with, there are 22,000 sites which are on AEM.
Okay.
See here, when you try to download list of all the sites, you see 20,000 sites on AEM, and all these are huge sites. These are these are companies that pay you well. There are a lot of work here. Nike, GM, Audi, Honda, lot of AEM work coming. Okay, so the market is very bright for the next 5 6 years, and you will get a higher pay as well. If you are good with the tool, if you are good with the skills, you will get a higher pay as well with AEM. That's the advantage.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
once you do this, what I expect you to do today? Okay. Now I will stop the how this training works. Okay. How am I going to train you every day? So if you
Hmm.
look at the way I train on a day-to-day basis, okay, let's say I already have one batch running. I provide the day-to-day. I add some important points. Whatever we discuss, I'm going to add that on a day-to-day basis here. I am
Hmm.
also going to send you one recording after the end of each day. And whatever we do is real time.
Okay.
So I will also share you the code at the end of each session. So you are going to try that, and if you are stuck, you let me know. I help you out with that. So you will have day-to-day basis.
Okay.
In addition to it, I am also going to send you one PDF that's called developer guide, which will have the step-by-step of whatever we discuss. And I'm also going to assign you some assignments which you are going to work. If you are
Hmm.
stuck, you let me know and I help you work with it. So that way you will have real-time experience in coding. Okay.
Sure.
So
Okay.
this is the model of our training. Apart from that, what I want you to do today is go to YouTube. There is a channel from Adobe itself. Okay.
Hmm.
Just look YouTube for Adobe Marketing Cloud. 2 minutes videos on all the solutions that we discussed today, the analytics, the social collaboration and everything. Just YouTube for this 2 minute videos. Look through those videos, okay? It's going to help you.
Sure.
I will stop the recording at this point.